Hi, I'm Jim Heiser, a member of the Caricature Carvers of America, and I want to welcome you to the International Association of Woodcarvers today.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the International Association of Woodcarvers. It's the 4th of October, 2025, a little bit after 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And as usual, we thank you all for coming in and joining us today. Today in our meeting, we have my good friend and CCA member, Jim Heiser, that's going to be on with us. Before we get started with him, and before I go through all the other things that I have to share, I'm going to go ahead and share or turn it over, not really share. I'm going to turn it over to Dave Stetson, let him do his words of wisdom today.
Hey, thanks, Blake. Listen, this goes against my grain, but it came up twice this week, and so I'll share it with you. And it comes from Margaret Thatcher. Some of you may remember her, Prime Minister of England. Margaret Thatcher said, if you want something said, you ask a man. But if you want something done, you ask a woman.
All right, Dave, thank you for that. We missed Dave last week, and appreciate you coming in and sharing with us today, Dave. Want to remind everybody, hopefully some of you are participating in Dale Green's class, the sports and holiday shorty class that was supposed to start today. Tell you about a few other classes. Dave Stetson's got a Santa class that's starting on the 18th of October. There's still time to sign up for that. If you're interested in that, reach out to Dave. Get signed up, and he'll tell you everything you need to do to participate in the class. There's another class on carving skinny wizards on October the 14th with Dwayne Gosnell. Dwayne's going to have classes October, November, and December. So if you're interested in taking classes with Dwayne, reach out to him. You can contact him on email or message him and get signed up for his classes. Tell you a little bit about our upcoming schedule. After this week, we've got Joe Savarese that was on just a few minutes ago. He's here with us. He's going to be doing a demonstration on soap carving. So I know when we were out in Colorado at the CCA Carving the Rockies show, we had a good turnout with our youth category. And Joe's wanting to encourage all the youth that we can to get involved. And a good way to do that is to start with soap carving. So he's going to be doing a demonstration talking about going through the whole process, what tools and things you'll need. And it should be a great learning experience for any of the kids. So if you've got kids, bring them on the meeting, let them listen in, and hopefully we can get some of the younger generation involved and get them to start carving. On the 18th of October, Mike Bloomquist is going to be back on with us. On the 25th of October, Ashton Brown from Badger State Blades is going to be coming on. And we're going to be doing a partnership, and you'll probably hear a little bit more about this, with some gouges that she's doing. They're going to burn our logo and their logo on the gouges. We're going to auction those off in one of our meetings. So that's something that's coming up on the 25th. You'll be seeing more of that on social media. So I'm excited about that. On November the 1st, I'll be down in Huntsville, Alabama at the North Alabama show. I'm teaching down there. Also, I will be participating in the show, and we'll broadcast live from the show down there. So look forward to that. Again, that's November the 1st. And then on November the 8th, Bob Hershey's going to come in. He's going to do a demonstration with us on carving a Santa out of a cottonwood bark. So we look forward to that. Today on our meeting, during the meeting, we're going to do a live auction like we normally do. I've got one of Jim Heiser's signature series knives made by Helvey. It's autographed by Jim, as you can see there. It's about a 2-inch blade. I think the handle is about 5 inches all the way to the tip. On the other side, it has burnt on there, Jim Heiser, CCA, the signature series 1. It's a brand new knife, never been used. We're going to auction this, as well as, and this is one auction, the carving that Jim Heiser has that he's going to show you in just a few minutes. So the winning bidder will get both the knife and the carving. As always, put your bids in the chat. High bid will win at the end. We ask for you to pay by PayPal, and all the proceeds go to allow us to continue these meetings through the International Association of Woodcarvers. So I'll go ahead and say thank you to Jim for donating his carving. And again, all the proceeds go to help us or allow us to have these meetings going forward. So I just want to thank you for that. And like I said, Jim Heiser's on with us today. He's going to be carving pumpkin heads. Jim, I appreciate you coming in. We're going to go ahead and turn it over to you, and we'll let the bidding start on the auction items. So Jim, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you.
Thanks, Blake. I appreciate you guys having me back on again. What I'm going to do today is just show you a fun project that I've been doing for a couple years. But before I do that, yeah, here we go. This is actually the carving that Blake was just talking about, that whoever bids on the knife, I'll give you this carving along with it. So, but I'm going to show you a few more, but this is the one that you will get. So I just wanted to remember to show you guys what you're bidding on. I started doing these a couple years ago because I like carving pumpkins, and there's a pumpkin carver by the name of Ray Villafane. I love the guy's work. I actually think Dave Stetson's actually went and carved with Ray before. I've never had the opportunity, but the thing with pumpkins, once you cut into them, they start deteriorating right away. So I'm thinking, well, what can I do to you know, preserve that a little bit more? And I just happen to have some basswood eggs laying around, and right away I know people said, oh no, not another egg project. But you can do these from blocks of wood, but the egg's already pre-shaped, so I find it quick, and they're easily accessible. So I'll show you a couple. But back in fall of 22, issue 100 in Woodcarving Illustrated, I did an article in there with what I'm going to show you today. So anybody has the back issues, they can always look back at that also. So what I'm going to do, Dave, if you'll switch the camera for me. Excellent. This first couple of carvings I'm going to show you are just a couple that was in the magazine. You don't have to do them as pumpkins. You can do them as a Hubbard. Hubbards are green. They're a squash. But what's nice about these things, you can really play with the expressions. And maybe there's something you want to try, but you don't really want to do it on a regular carving. So you can go here to see how far you can actually push it. This little guy here, this was done from a square block of wood that I just rounded and all. So you don't have to use an egg to do this. But these things make great little gifts. We put them on our table for sale at different shows. Every now and then one comes along that my wife won't let me part with, and this one just reminded her of a kid we knew, so we don't tell him that, but we decided to hang on to it. So this week I've been playing around a little bit more with some different ones. You know, and here's, when I talk about pushing expressions, there's an idea what you can do. Here, normally I use goose eggs. This little guy here was done out of one of the hen eggs. So they're a lot of fun to play with. So with that, let's go ahead and get started on one. So, and by all means, if anybody has questions, feel free to shout out or let Blake know. Like all your wood, you know, you got your growth rings. So I just could have put a couple pencil marks to show different things you read on carving eggs. People have different opinions on how you should approach it. I usually go into it here. I've done it both ways, but this just works for me, so I tend to do that. But the only reason I drew them on there just so you can kind of get an idea what I'm talking about. So one of the first things I do is just pick, you know, how tall do I want to make the pumpkin. So I just do a quick line, and they don't have to be, you know, it doesn't have to be the same. It can go up and down because, you know, your pumpkins aren't uniform. So I'll usually start with that and just start removing some wood there and bringing that in. What that's going to do is give me the top of the pumpkin and then a little bit of room for a stem there. And the more wood you leave, the taller stem you can make. The ones I was showing you could see had pretty short stems on them. there's all kinds of things you can do with these eggs. They're kind of fun to play with. The knife that's up for auction is, I think Blake showed you, is the Series 1. That's the knife I use most of the time. Helvey makes several for me, but that one has a slight flex to the blade. So that particular knife you're bidding on is a knife that has the flexible blade. So when I start these things, I really have no idea where I'm going to go with it. I just start carving on them and then decide what expressions I want to put on there. Like I say, they're a great way to practice expressions because you can see how far you can push things, and on these pumpkins you can't do, no matter what you do, it's not going to be wrong. So you're not going to be messing up a face. Like if you're doing a face on a carving, you always get worried whether, you know, am I going to push it too far, or is this going to look goofy when I'm done, you know. So the nice thing about these, you can play around, see how far you can push things, and so now I'm just using a shallow gouge and kind of coming around that and I may do some more here later. I don't want to bore you guys with this. It's just pretty straightforward.
Hey Jim, if you can slide towards your, there you go.
There?
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
Keep me honest here. Okay, I think that's enough of that. I mean, I don't want to bore you guys with this, but you can kind of get the idea where we're going with that. So now what I do, I'm going to start bringing out the nose. I just want to start pushing wood up, and I could use a gouge for this, but I do a lot of my work with the knife. You can also decide how far down do I want to bring it. In fact, I think I'll bring it down a little bit further. You can kind of see the shape of the nose starting to come out there. Decide where I want the bottom of the nose, and use whatever you're comfortable with there. You can use a knife. I'm just going to use a gouge to speed it up a little bit. It also helps if your gouge is sharp. Now I'm just going to pull wood off below the nose here. Alright, so what I like to do, you know, you get your center line back in, and to the left and right of the center line, I put some dots, but before I do that, I'm going to take my gouge and I'm just going to kind of run straight across there to kind of start setting a brow line there. So now I'm going to come back in and put that center line back. Then to the left and right of that center line, I like to put a little dot, and then I'll come back in with that gouge, and I'm going to, I hate to say this while Dave's on here, but I'm going to kind of gouge my eyes out. But anyway, you don't have to go real deep depending on the style of eye you want to do. And you can do, this is another chance to experiment with different eyes. A little shameless promotion, but you know, the CCA did the book on eyes, and this is a good project to practice different eyes on. So this guy, I think I'm going to want to try to get a little bit big schnoz on him. So I'm just going to draw a wide triangle there. That same gouge I'm going to take and come up alongside the nose and up, right up into the eye socket. Do that a couple times till I get the nose out to where I want it. I want to come back with my knife and kind of relieve wood off of that cheek. Now look at that, I'd like to have a little more schnoz coming out there, so we're going to go deeper. I go right up into that eye socket and I come back and clean that out. Then I want to go and just do the same thing on the other side. Now, anytime you put a gouge to a face or anything, you know, you do create a line. So I'm going to come back and soften up the lines on the side of that nose. Then I want to make sure my depth's the same on both of the eye sockets. And to do that, I just take my two fingers and put in the socket without even looking at it. And I can tell if one's higher or lower. And that was a little thing that I learned from an actual blind wood carver that lives in our area. He had come by my table and was looking at a carving of mine and asked if he could see it, and I said, well, sure. So he picks it up and he's running his fingers all over it, and he's very complimentary on different things, and I'm thinking, oh man, that, you know, I can't hardly believe that. So when he walked away, I picked the carving up and I did the same thing and realized what you can feel with your fingers. And people that lose a sense, you know, they get stronger with the other ones. So to me, that works real well on judging the depth of my eyes. If you do a carving and you're looking at the face, or there's something not right about the eyes, if you put that carving in front of you and stand in front of a mirror, you can tell if one eye is out from the other. But if you start out this way, then usually that's never an issue for you. So just a couple little tidbits there that over the years have picked up. So now I want to come back and I want to set the wing of the nose. Everybody see what I'm doing okay here? See, let me,
Yeah, you got it in pretty good, Jim.
all right. Add another light on, see if maybe that's thrown a little glare. I don't know. Is that any better?
It's a little washed out.
Okay. Let's see here.
Did you turn that one above you on?
No, I didn't turn it on, and I had another one over here I turned off.
Okay.
So that's going to be my excuse. If this thing doesn't turn out, it's because I can't see. Okay, so now if you look from the side, I guess your side, you can see we kind of got a nose coming out of there. I'll pull a little bit more off the cheek here, just to kind of give that face a little more angle there. So another issue that I've had when I first started carving early on is when I go to cut well, it's not the nostrils, but the wing of the nose in, I'd get one high and one low. So to help me, because I know I have an issue with focus in my eyes, so I'm aware of that. So I throw a line across the nose, and then whether you use a knife or gouge for your, just start, if you start on that line and come around, you do that on both sides, you got a fighting chance that they're going to be the same height. So then I also will come back up and do a little cut. And this is the beginning of your expression line, your smile line, however you want to refer to it. But I'm not committing myself to anything yet. But it also gives me a nice little shadow in around that corner of that nose then. And if I'm confusing anybody with what I'm saying, by all means, let me know so I can clarify it. Okay, at this point, now is where we can come into the fun part of these, is trying to decide what expression we want. Your pencil's your friend, so we can kind of. Like this guy, we're going to just put a great big old grin on him. And come right back up there to the nose, and I'm going to come down, just do a stop cut. And I'm going to back and just take some wedges out. So what I'm beginning to do now is I'm starting to form the mouth mound. I don't know if probably you guys don't have issues with it, but when I first got it started, I did a lot of flat-faced carvings, and it was basically because it was because I did not get that dental mound in there. So if you're walking around a show, looking at carvings and something grabs your eye, but you're just not sure what it is, look at the mouth mound, because a lot of times, especially with newer carvers, you'll see this in the novice category, the faces are too flat, and it's because they didn't really get the curvature in there for the mouth mound. This could be a little bit cleaner, but I think we're good on time, but
Hey, Jim, I know you've been out on the road a lot. Do you have any teaching opportunities coming up that people could participate in?
No, actually, I am done for this year. I have a couple shows in November I'm going to do here locally in Pennsylvania. Then I'm good till probably April of next year, be my first class down in Philadelphia. And then I'll be heading back out to Utah in the spring. So that's always a good time. If you've never been out there, it's a beautiful area. Get a choice of 5 instructors. I know Blake was out there this year, and I think he can also admit how much fun it was. You know, Dave Stetson was out and did an evening class.
I really encourage everybody to sign up for that one if they get a chance. It was a good time.
It's 2 things. You get a good week of carving, very nice folks, which all your carving venues are, but it's just a beautiful part of the country to go visit. I know since my wife and I drive out, we always try to make a little bit of a vacation out of it and go see some of the sights while we're out in that part of the country, and get to see a lot of different things since we've been traveling out there. One of the highlights for me, which I'm going to date myself, and probably half the people on here won't know what I'm talking about, but actually in Manti, Utah, I went to the Rat Fink Museum. Growing up, Hot Rod magazine would come out, and in the back of the magazine was all these t-shirts with these monsters driving a car and all. So I kind of grew up with that, and was take them up to the art room, and we'd put them on the projector and put them up on the wall, and then we'd trace them off on a big poster and then paint them. And so different friends that had different cars, I would try to do the ones for their car, and so it was kind of a treat for me to go see that. I'm thinking I'm only going to be there for an hour, because they said it can't be much, and I think 4.5 hours later I left. So. All right, so we're making some progress here. Get turned in the right direction. So let's see. And I do apologize about the glare. Bear with me just a minute. There might be one thing I can try here. I think that's a little better, don't you, Dave?
Yeah, it's looking good. Yep, we can see shadows now.
We'll go with that. So now I'm really in the dark, so you know, that's going to be my story and I'm sticking to it. And unfortunately, it might be too dark, but at least get some of the glare off of there. That throws the glare back on, doesn't it?
Well, but you can see the shadows a little better there,
Okay.
Tim. I think that's probably your best shot.
All right, well, we'll just go with that for now, and if it gets too bad, I'll do something different. All right, so I'm still not satisfied with the curvature, so I'm going to just take a little bit more. I know this part's boring for you folks, but bear with me here. All right, so now earlier I said this is where the fun begins. You know, we kind of come in, so now we're just going to get us a big old smile going there, and let's see. Maybe you throw a tooth in. Maybe bring a tooth up the other way. We'll see. Who knows what we'll end up with here. Just a stop cut along my pencil line. I like using the pencil. I think the pencil's your friend. I know some people don't like using them because it does get your carving marked up a little bit, but I always scrub my carvings before I paint them. So it's just something I do. You talk to 12 different people, they all have 12 different ways of how they approach their finishing on their carvings. Let's do something different. Let's give this guy some buck teeth. A little bit bigger. I'm just going to stop cut along the side of the tooth. I'm going to just take a wedge out in that corner. Or for the chip carvers, we're going to take a chip out. Just come across the bottom here and relieve that. As I said earlier, I usually don't have anything in mind when I start these guys. It's just, they're just fun to do, and if somebody invites you to dinner, it's a nice little gift you can take along with you, especially this time of year, you know, when everybody's doing their fall decorating. So I do encourage you to give them a try. I don't think you want to spend all your time carving these, or maybe you will, but they're a lot of fun. If I grab a different knife, I think that one needs stropped.
And Jim, you and Joan still run your website that has all of your stuff on there, don't you?
Yes, we do. It's J Heiser Art, and then it links you over, or that is the website address. But then it comes up and it says Heiser's Wood and Glass, but it's all the same. No, I'm sorry, not Heiser's Wood and Glass. Heiser's Lone Tree Wood Carving Studio. I'm really going back in years there. Before I got into wood carving, I used to build cabinets and furniture, and I did stained glass work, so I had a part-time business doing that for years. Then I got into wood carving, and that was it for the cabinet making and stuff. Enjoyed the wood carving so much, and I think it's as much the community of carvers as it is the fun of carving. I could be prejudiced, but I think wood carvers are the finest bunch of people you're ever going to meet. I know there's always exceptions to the rule, but they're very, very few in the wood carving world. And I've been blessed where I've got to travel the whole country. I've met lots of people, and it's just, well, Joan and I, we leave an event, and it never fails. One or the other one will look at each other and say, we are just so glad that we got involved with wood carving. Just the friendships we made, the places we've been able to travel. I apologize, I was pulling off the table again. So that's my normal comfort zone for carving. We were chatting earlier, I said, I think it's because I'm so short, the table's not a comfortable height, so it's easier for me to carve off the edge. And so maybe I need to take the legs down on the table, I don't know. It might make it difficult for the other folks to come out here and carve, though, so. Yeah, and Blake had asked about the website. I do have some rough outs there. I'm in the process of redoing a lot of stuff, but they're not all of them are on there, but most of them are. This time of year where I try to refresh things, and but I usually try to have our calendar of events up to date where we're going to be and stuff. Like I say, for anybody on here that was out at carving in the Rockies, I know that was a great time again this year. Got to see a lot of familiar faces, and made some new friends. All right, so there we go. We got some buck teeth on there, but I think I want to bring this side out a little bit further. So I'm going to come down and I just brought that smile line out a little further, and I think I'll do the same over here. And I'm going to want to go deeper to bring that bottom lip out. I'm sorry. Yeah, I think I'm liking that a little bit better. Where I live, we say it's more better. Let's take a shallow gouge upside down and come in and open up that smeller a little bit so he can breathe. If I have a carving that Joan's painting and I hear her say, well, you did it again, I know right away without even looking what it is. I didn't open up the nose, didn't cut the nostrils in. If it's a carving I've painted and she's inspecting it, then she'll say, well, you did it again, and then I know I didn't paint the eyebrows. Just two things that for some reason I forget all the time. So I'm going to go ahead and shape this nose a little bit more, get a little movement in him. Okay, now naturally that needs to be cleaner, but I will clean this up. Normally when if I wasn't doing a little demo, I would take more time with that, but I know it's boring to just sit here and watch somebody carve, so I promise everybody I will clean this. It'll be a lot cleaner carving later. All right, so let's go ahead and let's get us a little bit of a chin in there. I'm just going to kind of come up. Once again, you got to get the grain of your wood just like you would any other a rough out or a raw piece of wood. Oh, the other thing I didn't mention, and I did beforehand, these basswood eggs are sanded. So before I start, I go through and I kind of skin the egg. You can see, you'll see the facets in there. Get the light right. There we go. Where I just kind of cleaned up the sanding thing, and then go strop your knife because it will, I won't say dull it, but it does knock the edge off just because it's been sanded. Now, I don't know this, but somebody told me if you use that Abernet for the people that do sand, which I don't, said it doesn't leave the particles in there to dull your tool. Now, I can't verify that, but I have heard that, so something to experiment with. But I know I have a couple friends that are carvers, and one loves to sand these pieces, but then once in a while his tools are dull all the time, and that's usually why. But I like the facets in a carving, so I won't use the word never, but very seldom do I ever do any sanding.
Hey Jim, do you have a resource on where you buy your basswood eggs from?
Yeah, for the longest time I was getting them from Don Schwartz at Hillcrest Woodcarving, but I think Don's retiring now. But Bob Statlander is another source that I've used quite often, and I'm sure there's others out there, but that's the two that I've used, because one time I might need eggs and maybe one doesn't have them in stock, you know, so I would work between the two of them. Don was local, so I could always just run down and grab them here. Unless I caught Bob at a show, I would have to just you know, have him ship them to me. But both are good resources. There again, I don't know if Don is keeping anything like that. I know he's going to have a few knives and stuff like that, but I know most of his inventory he's liquidated. As you get going, then you can see, well, you know, I think I want to go deeper, and there's no right or wrong way with these. You just do what's appealing to your eye and what makes you laugh. That little guy I showed you earlier out of the hen egg, just something about him. I don't know, it just kind of makes me chuckle. I don't know why, but it does. Okay, so now we got some teeth, we got our mouth in, we got a chin going here, and we can come in and soften up these edges. Still not happy with that lower lip. So once I find what I'm looking for, I'll come through here with just a smaller U-gouge just to kind of bring that out a little bit more. Push the corner of that bottom lip up. Your lower lip tucks in under your upper lip, so I wanted to make sure I show that there. A little shadow line in there. Okay. So it's getting close to winter, so we got to make sure we get this trough in here. I'll tell you what I normally call it, but so now up here on top of the cheek, I want to start working with that, like on a regular face, what would be a muscle. So I'm just using my knife. You could use a gouge for this. Use whatever you're comfortable with using. Kind of got it shaped there, so I may come back, just run a gouge up through there just to get a little more emphasis in there. You still good on time, Blake?
Yeah, we're at about 15 till, so you've got plenty of time.
Okay. So what I want to do is like here on this cheek. Now I've got a pretty sharp line, so I like to go in and soften that up. And I do this on all my carvings, even, you know, well, just any carving I do. I don't like the sharp lines there. Faces don't have sharp lines, so here. I'm sure when I turn the lights back on, I'm going to look at this and say, oh my goodness. Once again, we're going to soften over here. Now, another little fun thing to do on the carvings, where you got this, your smile line or frown line, whatever you want to call it, cut in, we can go back in, and I'm going to do kind of a stop cut along there. Then I'm going to come back, once again, I'm going to take another wedge out. And it's actually fun when they come out. Naturally, I'm trying to show off here. It's not going to come out, but here we go.
Hard to do in the dark, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah. But anyway, I think you can see where I was shooting for. See the shadow line we got in there now? And we didn't have that a minute ago. So naturally, it needs cleaned up. But normally, if you get your cuts in there right, that chip will just pop right out of there. But I do that on a lot of my carvings just to get that extra bit of shadow. There we go. This side's not too bad over here, but And then there in the corner, we can actually just, instead of having a soft line, we can actually harden that and come back this way. So this is where, like I say, the fun comes, where you can just practice around. Like maybe you would be afraid to do that cut on a carving you're working on, say it was cowboy, who knows, whatever, a clown. But you can do that on these and say, well, you know what, I like that. So maybe my next carving I'll try that, or say, wait a minute, don't do that on another carving, you know. So, but on these kind of guys, there's no wrong. And sometimes what you don't like, the next person comes by your table and they just love it. One of the stories I tell, I had a carving that, boy, I hated this carving. And I didn't want anybody to even see it, but my wife would insist that we put it on our table to show. And I made up my mind this one time. I said, if that carving doesn't go, I'm going to do something. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm not putting that on the table. It's embarrassing. These two ladies come up to my table and they picked this carving up and said, this looks just like Uncle Joe. And I'm thinking to myself, poor Uncle Joe. So, you know, we all see different things. All right. So now we can come in, we can use our knife, throw some bold cuts in there, take some wedges out. You can use a little veiner if you want. And on these guys, these hard cuts like this work out real well. Let me see if I got one. Now this one's kind of got like some soft cuts in it, but you can see up in here, we did some a little bit more bolder cuts. So don't be afraid to play around with that. We'll have another, here's one that's a little more, you can see some really deep cuts in there, over here on this side of the cheek. But this one you can see where I raised the cheek up. On this one, I wanted the eye a little bit smaller than this one. I kind of wished I might have even went a little bit smaller than what I did, but it's fine. Whoever ends up with it will like it. It may be a gift, who knows. But you can use a small veiner and like get some lines going that way just to age him a little bit. That's why I wear a mustache, so people can't see the creases in my lip. Then I can come right back up in where we had that muscle earlier. Just put a few more cuts in there. Do the same thing here. So you can see it doesn't, depending on whether you use a knife or gouge, knife gives you a little bit sharper cut. The gouge, it's just a little bit softer. But they both work. And the key is the shadow. So, and then what I will do then is come with a U-gouge. Size really doesn't make a matter, but I'll go, because your pumpkins have those ridges in them. So of course I don't think I want to go down through the chin, but I just put one at the top of the head. But I'll come up along the side, and then if I had this finished up, I would go right down into it. It's a good example here. Kind of, you can see like where I brought them up in and run down inside. You can come back with a knife and soften that up if you want, or you can leave it sharp. However, like I say, there is no right or wrong on these. These are a little sharper. I didn't kind of soften them as much. But you can see the gist how I've run them up over and in, just like a regular pumpkin could be. This one I didn't put a chin, so I just carried that line down this way. But there again, your grain's going to change on you, so you can go part way and then you have to flip it, come the other way. one again, you don't have to put that many in these. You can put as many as you want. I'm sorry, I'm off the screen again. Go on this side.
Jim, Mitch is asking if you're going to be at East Berlin later this month.
It's possible that I may stop in on Saturday. That's still up in the air. I will not be displaying there, but I may drop in to just check out the show. It's been a couple years since I've been there. Still have a lot of friends down there, but you know, you get so busy, something has to go out of your schedule, and that was one of the shows we dropped several years back. In November, we have a little small club I belong to here. We have a one-day show the Saturday before Thanksgiving, so nice little show. We get a lot of people coming through there that aren't wood carvers, which is kind of nice. And once in a while, we'll get some new members for the club. So kind of see how I did that. And there again, now this top I never really finished, but let me do one side of that maybe. Now up in here, you're pretty much playing with end grain. But, and that doesn't have to be a perfect line across there. That can go up and down. And as you go out and look at pumpkins, you know, and everybody's got pumpkins for sale now. And if you start looking at the tops of them, you can see they're all shapes and sizes. This stem I would definitely make smaller. So other than eyes, that's pretty much it's all there is to these guys. And there again, you can do the eyes of choice. You can do this guy's kind of have the cartoon eyes that a lot of people are doing. These guys are bordering along like some of the eyes that I would put in my other carvings. There's another example of that. Let's see. These are like some just round eyes like you see on a lot of cartoons. So you can even do something as simple as a what I call a tent eye. And that's just where you're doing an oblong triangle, and then you come back and just pop a wedge out of there. So there again, you can do whatever eye. There's no right or wrong. And then you, depending on how much these lines you want to put in, you know. And like I say, there's all kinds of ideas on Pinterest. If it's something you want to try, I encourage you to look up Ray Villafane. He's got some fantastic pumpkins, and it's just a shame because of the fact that they are pumpkins, they won't last long, but that guy is definitely an artist. This time of year, you'll start seeing a lot of his work showing up. I look at that, and you know, maybe kind of looks like a mustache now, so I think maybe I went too far, so we'll just soften that up a little bit. And
Jim, someone in the chat was asking, what do you find is an acceptable price to list them for sale?
That's a good question. What do we normally sell these for?
What's that?
These eggs?
45.
Around 45.
45.
45 to 50, depends on how much I like it. I know that's kind of a snarky answer, but that does play in there a lot. If it's one that I really don't care if I sell, it might be $50. One that I'd like to go, shouldn't tell you guys this because now you'll come to my table and look at, oh, you didn't like this one, that's why it's 45. There's really no rhyme or reason. When I go to shows, it's a repeat show. I have to go back and look at what did I sell this particular carving for last year? You know, just to make sure if somebody buys it this year, they're not getting it cheaper than what somebody bought it last year. You know, I don't think that's fair to the people that's bought from me before. So. But like I say, they're a fun little gift. It's a quick carve that you can, so you can, if you need table fillers. And this time of year, like I say, somebody asked about the East Berlin show. I would sell quite a few of them down there because that's like right around Thanksgiving, or I'm sorry, Halloween. Getting my holidays mixed up. So other shows, it's like if I'm doing this at a November show, I mean, pumpkins are still out there, so people are buying them either just because they like them or they just want a decoration for the fall. So there you go. That's pretty much what it is. There's not anything real difficult with it, but that's how I approach that. There again, up here on the top, so many different ways you can do that. This one, get it turned right. See, I've even went all the way through just to make it look like they do in the field when they pull them off and they dry up. This little guy, he doesn't have much at all. Because sometimes when you look at the real pumpkins, some of them don't have it. Here's one that's got a pretty good curve to it. So.
And Jim, there is a question about painting the highlights before the oranges on the painting. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure, I can. I did with the darker orange, like in the grooves here. Let's see. This might be a little bit better. You can see a darker orange in here. And then I had a little bit lighter orange that I kind of watered down and went through here and then come back with like a yellow on top there. And sometimes the yellow I'll mix with the orange a little bit just to give it so it's not a real stark yellow. And on the front, because when you cut into the pumpkins, they're kind of a yellowish color. So this is yellow with a touch of green in it. It was an ivory on the teeth. There again, I could have painted it. If you cut a real pumpkin, it would be that same color, but I wanted some contrast there, so I went ahead and put the white in because it is a cartoon, So, and then at least the way we're carving right now or painting right now, we do use the diluted acrylics, and then I'll let that set overnight. Then the next day I'll come back and I mix up a little bit of a boiled linseed oil with artist oil paint, and I use a burnt sienna. But what I do, I take the oil paint with a little bit of thinner and I get it broke down into a liquid form, and then I pour that inside the boiled linseed oil and mix it up, and I kind of use that as an antiquing. It's not real dark or anything. It just some of the cheaper acrylics, when you water them down, they get like a pastel looking or chalky looking, but the oil brings that back out. Eventually I may be doing something else, because anytime I have an opportunity to carve with another carver, I like to see how they do it, and I will at least try their techniques. But that's what we're doing right now, and then I let that dry good, and then I'll go ahead and spray with a clear acrylic on there. I use, I think it's actually a Rust-Oleum brand, but it has a 2X on the can. You can get that at most of the big box stores, but that works real well. And for now, that's how we're doing our painting. Of course, your eyes is full strength. The teeth is pretty much full strength. Everything else is watered down. Hope that answered the question.
All right. Any other questions for Jim today? All right, Jim.
Well, I want to thank everybody for putting up with me here this afternoon. It's been fun, and go and try these guys.
And tell us once again the magazine that it was in, if somebody wants to refer back to the article.
Yeah, it was Woodcarving Illustrated. Had that's the cover. It was fall of 22, and it's issue 100. And some of the pumpkins I showed you were the ones that are actually from that magazine article. But it's just a guide to get you started and play. Feel free to play with it and try different things with it. You might surprise yourself.
And Rob Stack's asking what size the egg was that you started with.
Okay, the one I did today in the demo was a goose egg, and that's primarily what I do the most of. The little tiny one that I said that makes me laugh, that was a hen egg. It's just, let's see, get them here. So you can kind of see the comparison in size in them. But most of what I do is out of the goose eggs.
All right. Well, Jim, I just want to say thank you for coming in and presenting with us. I know we talked about doing this a long time ago, and glad it's finally here, and we were able to get together and share what you showed today. So I want to say thank you for that. And I look forward to getting together. If you don't get a chance, come out to Utah with us in May. It's a great time, and like he said, there's going to be 5 instructors. Actually, there's more instructors, but you get to take classes from 5 of them. So if you get a chance, try to come out. We'll go ahead and call the auction now, and it looks as though the winner is BSN. So BSN, if you'll stay in, I think that's Brandon. If you'll stay in the meeting, we'll get all your information. And again, Jim will be sending out the pumpkin head. I'll be sending out the knife, and we appreciate your support. Next week, we have Joe Savarese coming on to do a soap demonstration. Try to invite some kids, bring some of the youth out. Hopefully we can get them involved in carving, and I look forward to that meeting. I want to say thanks again for everybody who joined us today. This has been the International Association of Woodcarvers, and we will see you all next Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you all.
Oh, this will be a first.
What's that?
This will be a first for me there.
Oh, we haven't done intros with you before?
No.
Oh, I thought we had, Jim. Well,
No.
I'm so sorry.
No, that's fine.
Well, and just be aware, Jim, he records all the bloopers. So if you mess up 2 or 3 times, it'll all be at the end of the video. So stay tuned to the end because he puts it out there.
This is for the blooper reel.
That's right.
When I'm involved, there's always a blooper.
That's right.
I was expecting the Monopoly hat to be on your head, but no.
Well, it's in Colorado.
Yeah,
it just stays out there.
You need to get an extra one for travel.
Well, I hate to admit this, but there is one upstairs.
There you go.
We won't make you get it. Okay, well,
right.
since you haven't done this before, simply introduce who you are, Jim Heiser with the CCA. If there's anything you want to say to publicize yourself in anything you got coming up, classes or any of that kind of stuff. I know we've got Blake will cover a lot of class stuff going on, but if you have anything special coming up, if you want to say something about that, that's fine real quick. And then just say, welcome to the International Association of Woodcarvers. So we'll do as many takes as you want to.
We'll give her a shot here. Tell me when you're ready.
Whenever you want to go.
See? He's
Yep.
a pro. He's a pro.
One time, one and done.
One take.
That's all it takes.
Go ahead. Oh, I guess I should have recorded that. No.